Hey everyone, it's Dr. Pink. I also got a haircut. How's it look? Sorry to complain, but it's been so hot down here. I had to get a cut. It's just been too hot. Anyways, I wanted to take a few minutes to help you review and go over how to cite and come up with a reference list under APA. In your assignments, part of your grade is based on your use of APA for citing. Giving others proper credit is very important in the academic and professional world. Using someone else's knowledge without giving them credit is just like stealing someone's car or their money out of their bank account. It is very important to recognize the work of others. I can share an example of a similar circumstance with you to emphasize the importance of citing and referencing. Look at that, I got funny hair sticking up. That's probably curly hair. Oh my goodness. Anyways, when I was working with New York State, I was discussing emergency preparedness training with one of my building management teams in New York City. We had an office there where we leased space for about 200 employees. The person in charge of the emergency plans for the buildings had asked me a copy for one of my trainings to see what I covered, so I sent it to her. Well, a month later, I was down and attending a training class that she was included in on to review some of the updates to the emergency procedures. While I was sitting there, they had conveniently taken 2 of my videos and included them in the training. I was furious because she had said nothing to me. Now, I did not create the videos, and they were not my exact work, but I found them on the internet and had used them, and she clearly had not. I had gotten no acknowledgement whatsoever. The point here is that she stole my work and used it as her own. To this day, I still hold a grudge against her, so it's important for you to give credit where credit is due. With that being said, I have my top 5 tips for following APA. Number 1, when you are doing research, always make note of your source at that time. If you are doing an internet search, copy the web address and put it with your notes. If you are looking at hard copies, note the information source at that time. Include the page number if you can. I have had more than once that I did not do this and had to spend hours trying to find my source, and a few times I could not. So then I had 2 options. Either find another source that backed the point or delete that information. I have had to do both. This caused a lot of stress and waste time, so always note your source when you are doing research. Number 2, in-text citations. We're talking about the body of your paper here. Whenever a thought is not your own, you must give credit to who came up with it. Ideas, concepts, or facts fall into this category. Unless the fact is common knowledge, such as we have 50 states in America, you must give credit to the author. To give credit, you put in parentheses the author's last name and year the source was documented. If you have several authors, the first time you reference a source, you list all the authors by last name and then year. Then, each time after, you can list the first author's last name and use et al, E-T-A-L, and then the year. Your in-text citation is also written in the parentheses before the period ends the sentence. If you take a direct quote from your source, you must include the page or pages you got the information from. If there are not page numbers, such as information on an internet website, you need to start at the top and count to find which number paragraph the information is in and write in parentheses para with a capital P and that number parentheses again as an example. This way, if someone wanted to look where you got that, they could count down the paragraphs to get to that one and find that information. One last point on text citations is that each sentence that you write that has information that is not your own must be cited. While it can be a pain, it must be clear to the reader who the information comes from. If you do link these together, it must be very clear in your word choice that you are referencing the previous author. So usually it's just best to put your reference for your in-text citation right at the end of that sentence. Number 3, figuring out who the author is. If a specific person is not listed as the author, then the organization becomes the author. For example, you find a document put out by FEMA that you want to reference. However, no specific person is listed. Therefore, FEMA becomes the author, followed by the year. Number 4, multiple references by the same author and same year. If you have 2 or more articles with the same author and same year, they must be specifically referenced. Therefore, you list them as A and B in your text and in your references as well. Number 5, for every in-text citation you have, the information must be in the reference list. Conversely, each item in your reference list must be cited somewheres in your paper. Your reference list must be in alphabetical order by the first author, then by year. So if you have 2 references from FEMA, where one was published in 2009 and the other in 2011, the earliest goes first. If you have multiple sources by the same author and same year, such as they are all FEMA 2011, you have to give a letter to the year. So this will be written as FEMA 2011A, then FEMA 2011B, and so on. The format for your in-text citations should also match your reference list. The idea is to try to make it easy for the reader to find additional information about a specific point. Let's make it easy for them. I highly recommend you download the APA source and have it as a reference. In each of your classes, there is a section called Course Policies. Included here on page 2, there is a link to Waldorf's library and a lot of reference material for APA. Scroll down the page and click on the Success Center Citation Guide and print it out or save it to your files. Then you can highlight key points and use it as a reference. As part of your proofreading, you should make sure that you do 3 passes over your papers before submitting. The first time is to make sure you have answered all of the questions as required with enough detail to earn full credit. The second time is to check your reference list and compare it to your in-text citations. Does everything match? Is everything in the correct format? The third time you proofread is for grammar and punctuation. Run your document through a spelling and grammar check. Keep in mind that this check does not catch everything. If you use the word to, T-W-O, and to, T-O-O, since they are both correct, the checker might not catch it. A final read-through should be done by you to make sure everything sounds good. Reading your papers out loud will also help for you to catch any errors. I hope this helps. All of this gets easier with practice, but even professors have to check on correct formatting. In the first week or 2 of class, I will be easier on you with your APA formatting, but I will not let you off the hook. You need to take your time to learn this information. The link to the library source also has videos to watch to help you. This is just something you have to invest time, time in to learn. It can be an easy way to earn or lose points for your assignments, so it is important to get it right. Use your documents as a reference and check them just to make sure. If you do need any more help, please use the resources by the college, Google it, or reach out to me for assistance. Thank you for your time watching this video and putting in some effort to improve your APA referencing for your assignments.